Welcome back, American coin hunter. Imagine holding in your hand a coin that has circulated through the pockets and purses of millions. A coin so common in its basic form that most people wouldn't give it a second glance. Yet in certain circumstances, it becomes the crown jewel of collectors, a tiny piece of metal with a story so rich that its value can be measured not in dollars, but in millions. This is the story of the 2001 United States 1-cent coin, a coin minted in Philadelphia and Denver, part of the Lincoln Cent series, and a coin whose very presence tells us about history, art, and the intricate world of numismatics. The 2001 penny, at first glance, seems ordinary, a small copper-plated steel disc with a familiar profile of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, designed to remind the nation of its 16th president, the man who preserved the Union in the darkest days of the Civil War. Its obverse design, crafted by Victor David Brenner, has graced American cents since 1909, marking the centennial of Lincoln's birth and bringing a classic, dignified profile into everyday commerce. On the reverse side, in 2001, the coin still featured the Lincoln Memorial, an image that has been engraved with such meticulous detail that you can actually see the tiny figures of Lincoln seated inside the memorial when viewed closely. It is a symbol of both the man and the monument, an intersection of history and artistry. But beyond the artistry, the coin is an example of precision engineering measured to exacting standards. It weighs 2.5 grams, is 19.05 millimeters in diameter, and has a thickness of 1.52 millimeters, dimensions that make it perfectly balanced for handling and consistent minting, with a reeded edge that gives it a subtle tactile quality when held. Its composition, after 1982, is a mixture of 97.5% zinc and 2.5% copper, reflecting a shift in material due to economic factors and the rising cost of copper. The 2001 penny carries the mint marks P for Philadelphia and D for Denver, with some rare collector coins marked S for San Francisco, primarily in proof sets. The mint mark is a small letter, but its significance is enormous to the discerning collector. A Philadelphia mint penny, indistinguishable from thousands of others, might seem trivial, yet a tiny die error, a misstrike, or a rare variety can transform it into a coin worth tens of thousands, or in extreme hypotheticals, millions. The 2001 penny also exists in uncirculated and proof conditions, each graded on a scale from 1 to 70 by the Professional Coin Grading Service or Numismatic Guarantee Corporation, with pristine specimens achieving the coveted MS-70 or PR-70 ratings. The grading alone can drastically affect value, turning an everyday cent into a high-demand collector item. To understand why a coin like this could reach a market value as high as $261 million, we must explore the extraordinary circumstances that make coins rare and valuable. Numismatics is not just about the metal or the date. It is about scarcity, history, errors, and the stories coins tell. A 2001 penny might feature double dies, off-center strikes, repunched mint marks, or other errors that occurred during the minting process, each a unique fingerprint. For instance, a hypothetical 2001 D Lincoln cent with a dramatic double die obverse, where Lincoln's profile appears twice in slightly offset layers, could be worth an astronomical sum to collectors. Similarly, coins with misaligned dies, cuds, or missing features, especially in high-grade conditions, can draw extreme interest at auctions, particularly from investors seeking unique, irreplaceable items. Beyond error coins, the 2001 cent exists within a rich historical context. Lincoln's legacy is embedded in every detail of the coin, and by 2001, the United States was at the threshold of a new millennium, a time of technological change, economic growth, and a numismatic boom. Collectors were seeking coins that combined accessibility with potential rarity, and even minor varieties from this era can generate intense market activity. In addition to the numismatic perspective, the market value is influenced by speculation, historical significance, and even hypothetical scenarios, such as the idea of a single coin representing the pinnacle of rarity and demand. The $261 million figure, while extraordinary, speaks to the extreme end of collectible imagination, representing a coin that would combine perfect condition, a dramatic error, historical resonance, and perhaps provenance tied to a notable figure or event. Beyond market value, the 2001 penny is also a cultural artifact. It tells us about everyday commerce, the materials we used at the time, and the design priorities of the U.S. Mint. It is a coin that passes through hands daily, yet within it lies the legacy of a president, the artistry of a sculptor, and the meticulous craft of minting technology. Its small size belies its enormous potential for storytelling. We can even analyze the symbolism of the coin. Lincoln's profile faces right, a direction traditionally associated with looking forward, progress, and optimism. The Lincoln Memorial on the reverse anchors the design in the nation's capital, a reminder of unity and resilience. Even the materials, a zinc core with copper plating, reflect pragmatism, cost efficiency, and innovation in coin production, highlighting shifts in industrial strategy at the turn of the century. The 2001 penny also has significance for modern collectors who track mintage numbers. Millions were produced that year, yet only a fraction survive in pristine condition. Circulated coins suffer wear, scratches, and corrosion, making uncirculated examples rare and desirable. For those seeking extreme rarity, coins with die cracks, doubled dies, or repunched mint marks stand out. Auction records show that even modest error coins from the early 2000s can fetch thousands of dollars, and rare, dramatic varieties can fetch hundreds of thousands, demonstrating that the market is highly sensitive to unique characteristics. When we imagine a 2001 penny with an extreme rarity profile, like a hypothetical error or proof in perfect condition with extraordinary provenance, we enter a world where numismatics intersects with investment strategy, history, and even fantasy. The idea of a $261 million penny is, in reality, a projection of maximum collector interest, market hype, and historical resonance converging on a single object. Beyond value, we can discuss the tactile qualities of the coin. Holding it, you feel the rim, the detailed lines of Lincoln's hair, the subtle engraving of his coat, and the minutely detailed columns of the Lincoln Memorial. These sensory aspects matter to collectors, as they reflect the mint's artistry and the coin's integrity over time. The weight and composition affect how it feels in the hand, while the diameter makes it instantly recognizable. Every detail, from the alignment of the obverse and reverse to the sharpness of the strike, tells a story about quality control at the U.S. Mint in 2001. Even the small imperfections become part of the narrative, distinguishing one coin from millions of others. Furthermore, coins like the 2001 cent are part of broader collecting trends. Lincoln cents, being one of the longest-running series in U.S. history, attract multi-generational collectors. The series has seen numerous design changes, compositions, and minting experiments, all of which enhance the appeal of even minor varieties. Collectors often seek coins that complete sets, represent a mint milestone, or feature unique characteristics. In auctions, provenance can be as important as condition. A coin once owned by a famous collector or discovered in an extraordinary circumstance can command exponentially higher prices. The idea of a 2001 cent reaching $261 million combines perfect grading, error rarity, historical significance, and collector obsession, illustrating the extremes of numismatic fascination. Now, as we delve deeper into the world of the 2001 Lincoln cent, it's important to understand the subtle nuances that separate an everyday coin from a potential numismatic treasure. Every 2001 penny carries the marks of its origin, tiny imperfections and variations that occurred during production at the Philadelphia and Denver mints, and, in some rare cases, the San Francisco Mint for proof coins. While the vast majority of these coins circulated without incident, a small fraction experienced anomalies, some so minor that they went unnoticed for decades, while others were dramatic enough to attract immediate attention in the numismatic community. One fascinating category to consider is the doubled die. A doubled die occurs when the working die that strikes the coin has misalignment or duplication in its design, resulting in a coin where elements of the image appear doubled. For the 2001 cent, a doubled die could affect Lincoln's profile, the lettering of Liberty or In God We Trust, or even the date itself. Imagine a 2001 D penny where Lincoln's coat buttons appear in faint duplicate layers, or the word Liberty is ghosted with a secondary imprint. To an untrained eye, this coin might appear ordinary, but to a seasoned collector, It represents a unique artifact of minting history. Such coins, if preserved in near-perfect condition, can command extraordinary sums, creating the foundation for the notion of a 2001 penny worth millions. Beyond doubled dies, another area of interest is repunched mint marks. The Denver and Philadelphia mints occasionally reused mint marks in the engraving process, and in rare cases, the D or P was punched more than once. On a 2001 penny, a repunched mint mark could result in subtle shadows or offsets visible under magnification. These tiny deviations make each coin distinct, effectively turning mass-produced metal into a one-of-a-kind collectible. Circulators often dismiss pennies as trivial, but the devil, and the value, is in the details. Beyond errors, condition plays an enormous role in valuation. The grading system, ranging from poor to perfect mint state, provides a standardized assessment of a coin's preservation. A circulated 2001 penny may exhibit scratches, where on Lincoln's cheek and jawline, or fading of the memorial columns, while an uncirculated coin retains every fine line, every detail of the hair, the buttons, the wreaths, and even the intricate texture of Lincoln's coat. Proof coins, struck on specially polished planchets with mirror-like surfaces, are even more extraordinary. The 2001 S-proof cent, for example, is a visual marvel, with frosted devices standing out against a perfectly reflective background, capturing light in a way that makes Lincoln's profile almost lifelike. These coins, preserved in pristine condition, are the foundation for extreme collector valuation. To understand why such a coin could hypothetically be valued at $261 million, we also need to explore provenance. Coins previously owned by notable collectors, discovered in extraordinary circumstances, or linked to historically significant events become exponentially more valuable. A 2001 penny unearthed from a time capsule or part of a mint-era collection presented to the U.S. Treasury would attract global attention, especially if verified by a top-tier grading service. When collectors bid on such pieces, prices can escalate dramatically, often beyond the theoretical or conventional market. Furthermore, the 2001 cent exists within a fascinating historical and economic context. The early 2000s marked a transitional period for coin production. Rising copper prices led to the widespread adoption of zinc cores with copper plating, a cost-saving measure that also influenced the coin's durability and appearance. The U.S. Mint was experimenting with precision minting technology, automated quality control, and die designs intended to reduce errors, yet perfection is never guaranteed. Every penny struck carries the potential for subtle imperfections, and these anomalies, when rare, are what create the most coveted collectibles. The coin's weight, at 2.5 grams, and its size, just over 19 millimeters, may seem negligible, yet these measurements are critical for collectors. Coins that fall outside standard specifications due to planchet errors or misstrikes immediately attract attention. Even a slightly off-weight 2001 penny, or one with a subtly warped planchet, can become an object of desire in the numismatic market because it embodies a deviation from the mundane and becomes a rare specimen. Another layer of intrigue arises from the coin's artistic symbolism. Lincoln's obverse is more than a portrait. It is an emblem of the nation's ideals, a reminder of unity, leadership, and progress. The Lincoln Memorial on the reverse anchors the coin in the nation's capital and reflects a sense of permanence and gravitas. Every fine line, every column, every shadow is meticulously designed to convey respect for Lincoln's legacy. Collectors are drawn not only to the coin's rarity or potential monetary value, but also to its visual storytelling. Over time, the 2001 cent has developed a complex narrative in the collector world. It represents both the everyday and the extraordinary, an intersection of normal circulation and the high-stakes world of error coin auctions. While millions of 2001 pennies exist in circulation, only a fraction of those retain the sharp details, reflective surfaces, and pristine edges that define top-tier specimens. Numismatists meticulously search through rolls, hoards, and private collections to identify these gems, understanding that a single coin can redefine what is possible in the collector market. In addition to physical attributes, the 2001 penny also has a speculative dimension. Investors and collectors often imagine extreme scenarios where a coin embodies perfect rarity, flawless condition, and historical significance. In such cases, even a seemingly mundane penny becomes a candidate for multi-million-dollar valuation. The $261 million figure is not simply a reflection of metal or rarity. It is a representation of the convergence of perfection, provenance, demand, and imagination. It is an aspirational number, a symbol of ultimate desirability in the numismatic community. Beyond the individual coin, 2001 pennies also connect to broader collecting trends. Lincoln cents, being one of the longest-running series, attract collectors across generations, each interested in completing sets, finding rare varieties, and studying the subtle shifts in minting practices. Collectors analyze everything from die wear and planchet texture to strike depth and color toning. For example, a 2001 penny with a slightly darker toning due to environmental exposure or natural oxidation may appeal aesthetically to some collectors, while others prioritize pristine, bright red coins. The combination of personal taste, market demand, and rarity drives prices in ways that are sometimes unpredictable but always fascinating. Auction houses, private sales, and online marketplaces provide forums for these coins to achieve staggering values. Rare 2001 pennies with extreme errors have been known to sell for tens of thousands of dollars, and in theoretical scenarios, coins with unprecedented errors and perfect grading could achieve valuations in the hundreds of millions. This is the intersection of scarcity, artistry, history, and collector passion, and it is what makes the 2001 penny endlessly captivating. The story becomes even richer when considering production specifics. The 2001 D-Mint struck hundreds of millions of cents, yet quality control was rigorous, meaning only a tiny percentage developed anomalies significant enough to attract collector attention. Every minor detail, from slight die clashes to faint doubling of letters, contributes to the coin's uniqueness. Collectors employ magnification, light analysis, and even microscopic examination to detect these traits, understanding that subtle differences distinguish an ordinary penny from a numismatic superstar. In examining circulation patterns, it becomes clear that some 2001 pennies are effectively lost in ordinary commerce, tucked into rolls, jars, or drawers for decades. Others end up in banks, change machines, and cash registers, exposed to wear, corrosion, and environmental damage. The lucky few that survive untouched, with original luster and sharp detail, are the candidates for high valuation and collector attention. It is in this delicate balance between survival, condition, rarity, and error that the 2001 penny demonstrates its potential to transcend ordinary value and enter the realm of extraordinary worth. To fully grasp the allure of the 2001 Lincoln cent, we must consider the world of minting errors and anomalies, which is where the truly extraordinary specimens emerge. Even in a year like 2001, when millions of cents were produced across Philadelphia and Denver, every step of the minting process carried the possibility of imperfection. Planchets, the blank metal discs that are struck to create coins, were carefully inspected for uniformity, yet occasionally a defective planchet would slip through. A planchet that was slightly thinner or thicker than standard could result in coins with abnormal weight or distorted images. Some 2001 cents may have been struck on planchets with minor lamination flaws, creating a surface that peeled in layers or revealed subtle color differences. To an untrained eye, these imperfections seem minor, even negligible, but in the numismatic world, they can elevate a coin's desirability immensely. One of the most sought-after error types in 2001 cents is the off-center strike. This occurs when the coin blank is not perfectly aligned within the striking press, resulting in a portion of the design being shifted or missing entirely. In some extreme cases, the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse might be partially cut off, or Lincoln's profile might appear truncated on the obverse. These coins are extraordinarily rare, especially when combined with high-grade preservation, because most off-center strikes are removed from circulation or damaged through handling. Another fascinating category is die cracks and die breaks. During the high-volume production of 2001 cents, the dies used to strike coins were subject to tremendous stress. Tiny fissures could form in the metal of the die, leaving raised lines or irregularities on the coins themselves. Collectors meticulously study these die cracks, cataloging their length, position, and frequency. A 2001 penny exhibiting a prominent, perfectly defined die crack can be far more valuable than its face value suggests, particularly when verified by a professional grading service. Doubled dies deserve special emphasis because they are among the most dramatic and collectible anomalies. The doubling effect occurs when the die itself is misaligned during hubbing, resulting in a coin that bears a duplicated image or lettering. For the 2001 cent, a doubled die could affect Lincoln's jawline, the inscription, "In God We Trust," or even the date. A hypothetical 2001 D coin with an extreme doubled die could show Lincoln's face and coat buttons in almost surreal duplication, creating a visual effect that collectors prize above ordinary specimens. Such coins, especially in pristine condition, are the type that could justify discussions of astronomical valuations. Repunched mint marks, while subtler than doubled dies, also attract significant attention. In some 2001 pennies, the D of Denver or the P of Philadelphia was stamped more than once, creating faint shadows or overlapping impressions visible under magnification. These variations provide insight into the minting process and create unique identifiers for collectors seeking coins that stand out from the millions of ordinary cents produced that year. Proof coins, especially the 2001 Lincoln cent, occupy an entirely different stratum of desirability. Struck on specially polished planchets, proof coins feature frosted devices and mirror-like fields, creating a visually stunning contrast. The obverse shows Lincoln in crisp relief, every line of hair and facial feature sharply defined, while the reverse Lincoln Memorial glistens with architectural precision. Proof sets are often housed in protective packaging from the U.S. Mint, preserving their condition for decades. A 2001 proof cent graded PR70 represents perfection, a coin where every detail is flawless, every edge sharp, and every reflection pristine. Such coins are the crown jewels of collections, and when paired with unusual errors or unique provenance, they become candidates for extreme valuation. Speaking of provenance, the story behind a coin can dramatically affect its market value. A 2001 penny recovered from a time capsule, for example, or one previously owned by a notable collector, is not just a coin, it is a historical artifact. The history of the coin becomes inseparable from its physical characteristics, and the market responds accordingly. Auction houses often highlight provenance to generate competitive bidding, and collectors are willing to pay extraordinary sums for coins with documented, interesting histories. The auction process itself is a fascinating lens through which to view the 2001 cent coins are presented with high-resolution photographs, detailed grading reports, and expert commentary on their rarity and condition. Competitive bidding can escalate rapidly, particularly for coins exhibiting rare errors, perfect preservation, or historical significance. While ordinary circulated pennies from 2001 might be valued at a few cents or a couple of dollars, a coin exhibiting extreme rarity, such as a dramatic off-center strike, pronounced doubled die, or proof in perfect condition, could theoretically reach multi-million-dollar valuations, illustrating the extremes of numismatic economics. Metallurgy is another layer of complexity that makes the 2001 cent compelling. Post-1982 pennies are composed primarily of zinc, with a thin copper plating. This choice of materials was driven by cost efficiency, as copper prices rose significantly. Zinc cores make the coin lighter and more prone to certain types of corrosion or planchet flaws, and the copper plating adds a distinctive reddish hue. Collectors pay close attention to color variations, plating defects, and surface toning. Even subtle deviations in color or luster can signal unique production characteristics, elevating a coin's collectible potential. Condition, rarity, error type, and provenance converge to define value. But there is also the collector psychology at play. Lincoln cents are ubiquitous, familiar, and easily accessible, yet the hunt for rare varieties transforms the familiar into a thrill. Collectors enjoy examining rolls of pennies, searching for anomalies that might have gone unnoticed by previous handlers. Each discovery is a moment of excitement, connecting the collector to history, production processes, and the broader numismatic community. The 2001 cent also serves as a lens into broader numismatic trends. The Lincoln Cent series is one of the longest running in U.S. history, and collectors often focus on completing date and mint mark sets, identifying error coins, or seeking coins with exceptional eye appeal. The 2001 penny, with its combination of modern production techniques and potential anomalies, offers the perfect balance between accessibility and the possibility of discovering something extraordinary. Imagine a collector carefully examining rolls of 2001 pennies, spotting a coin where Lincoln's profile appears slightly shifted, the letters of Liberty doubled, and the mint mark showing faint evidence of repunching. To most people, it's just another penny. To the collector, it's a potential gem, a coin that could one day redefine market expectations if preserved, authenticated, and sold at auction. The thrill of discovery, combined with meticulous research, forms the backbone of the collector experience, transforming ordinary coins into stories of passion, patience, and expertise. Environmental factors also affect the preservation and valuation of 2001 pennies. Exposure to moisture, heat, or improper storage can alter the color, create surface corrosion, or wear down fine details. Collectors invest in protective holders, controlled environments, and careful handling to maintain the integrity of coins. The physical survival of the coin becomes part of its story, as pristine specimens are far rarer than circulation coins. In theoretical scenarios where a 2001 penny achieves the pinnacle of desirability, every element must align: perfect preservation, dramatic mint error, documented provenance, aesthetic appeal, and verified authenticity. The coin becomes not merely a collectible but a legend, representing the apex of numismatic aspiration. It embodies the intersection of human craftsmanship, history, rarity, and imagination, beyond the technical and market aspects. As we continue to explore the extraordinary potential of the 2001 Lincoln Cent, it's essential to consider the stories of coin hoards and rare discoveries, because often the most valuable coins are those that escape ordinary circulation for decades. Across the United States, countless pennies from 2001 remain tucked away in jars, drawers, and old rolls, forgotten by those who once handled them. Occasionally, collectors stumble upon small treasures, entire rolls of 2001 pennies, each displaying subtle variations, unusual toning, or even rare mint errors. The thrill of such a discovery is unmatched. Imagine a collector in 2026 carefully unwrapping a roll of 2001 pennies, only to find one coin with a striking double die on the obverse and a faint repunched mint mark. The coin's surface gleams with the original reddish luster, untouched by circulation. In this moment, the penny transforms from a commonplace object into a candidate for extreme valuation. The phenomenon of hoard discoveries adds a layer of excitement to numismatics. Entire collections, sometimes forgotten in attics or bank safety deposit boxes, have surfaced decades after their minting. These collections occasionally contain 2001 pennies in pristine, uncirculated condition, some with unique anomalies that escaped mass detection. Each coin is a testament to careful preservation and the unpredictability of survival over time. In the case of extreme rarity, collectors imagine scenarios where a single coin displays multiple extraordinary features: an off-center strike combined with a dramatic double die, pronounced die cracks, and an unusual planchet defect, all preserved in flawless proof condition. Such a coin, were it to exist, would attract attention from the global collector community and could theoretically justify valuations in the hundreds of millions. These extreme scenarios, while speculative, underscore the potential magnitude of value when condition, rarity, errors, and provenance converge. Comparative analysis with other Lincoln cents across history helps us contextualize the 2001 penny's place in the market. Historically, coins such as the 1955 double die obverse cent, the 1943 bronze cent, or the 1972 double die cent have achieved astronomical prices because they combine rarity, dramatic errors, and exceptional condition. Each of these coins was originally a commonplace object, but through unique circumstances, they became legendary. The 2001 cent, particularly in hypothetical extreme error form, follows the same pattern: an ordinary penny elevated by anomalies, perfection, and desirability into an object of legend. Market dynamics further reinforce this potential. Collectors constantly seek coins that are simultaneously rare, visually appealing, and historically interesting. Auctions for high-grade Lincoln cents with notable errors demonstrate how scarcity and desirability drive prices. Even relatively minor anomalies in modern coins can command thousands of dollars, and when multiple rare features align, values escalate dramatically. The speculative $261 million figure represents the theoretical peak of these dynamics. A perfect coin with unprecedented error rarity, flawless condition, historical provenance, and extreme collector demand. Collector strategies are an essential aspect of understanding 2001 penny valuation. Serious collectors examine rolls and individual coins using magnification, proper lighting, and reference guides. They look for subtle doubled letters, faint die cracks, planchet anomalies, and off-center strikes. Each discovery is documented, photographed, and often submitted to professional grading services for verification. Authentication adds immense value, as certified coins are more trusted by the market, ensuring buyers that they are investing in a verifiable rarity. Beyond technical analysis, aesthetic appeal plays a crucial role. Eye appeal can dramatically influence value, even among coins with identical errors. Factors such as luster, toning, color contrast, and surface smoothness affect desirability. A 2001 penny with warm reddish toning, sharp detail, and subtle reflective qualities may be far more sought after than an identical coin with dull or damaged surfaces. Environmental and storage conditions also impact long-term preservation. Coins exposed to moisture, heat, or improper handling often exhibit corrosion, fading, or scratches. Pristine 2001 pennies, preserved in protective holders, capsules, or archival quality containers, are exceedingly rare compared to their circulated counterparts. The survival rate of these coins adds to their value, especially when combined with dramatic errors or proof-like quality. Another fascinating dimension is the psychological aspect of collecting. The Lincoln cent is ubiquitous, which paradoxically increases the thrill of finding something extraordinary. Collectors often describe the search as part archaeology, part detective work, and part competitive sport. Discovering a subtle anomaly in a common 2001 penny creates an immediate connection between the collector, history, and potential monetary reward. The story behind a coin, the place it was found, the journey from the mint, and its survival through decades, adds immeasurably to its allure. In addition to domestic hoards, international interest influences market dynamics. U.S. coins, particularly Lincoln cents, are collected globally. High-grade error coins or proof specimens from 2001 can attract attention from European, Asian, and Middle Eastern collectors. This international demand amplifies potential valuations, as competitive bidding across borders pushes prices beyond typical expectations. The artistry of the 2001 cent itself deserves further exploration. The obverse portrait of Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner, emphasizes dignity, strength, and historical resonance. Every line in Lincoln's hair, every contour of his jaw, and every detail of his coat has been meticulously struck to produce a miniature work of art. On the reverse, the Lincoln Memorial remains an architectural marvel, capturing the columns, the steps, and even the seated statue of Lincoln within. This attention to detail allows collectors to appreciate the coin both as a collectible and as a work of artistry, enhancing its intrinsic and perceived value. Metallurgical analysis also reveals subtleties that influence collector interest. The copper-plated zinc composition produces a distinct reddish-brown color when new, which can naturally darken or toning over time. Collectors often prize coins that exhibit appealing toning patterns, including gradient hues, iridescent effects, or uniform deep red coloring. Planchet composition, thickness, and weight are measured meticulously, and coins outside these norms can become anomalies of interest, sometimes yielding extreme value if preserved in mint condition. When combining all these factors, errors, extreme preservation, aesthetic appeal, rarity, provenance, international demand, and historical significance, we begin to understand why some collectors imagine valuations as high as $261 million. While number 2001 penny has ever actually sold for this sum, the figure represents a theoretical scenario in which every desirable attribute aligns in a single, unparalleled specimen. Beyond theoretical valuation, the 2001 penny also serves as a bridge between the collector and the broader narrative of U.S. history. It reflects economic choices, design philosophy, technological capabilities, and cultural values at the dawn of the 21st century. Every penny, no matter how common, carries these stories within its metal. To truly understand the immense potential of the 2001 Lincoln cent, we must explore hypothetical high-value error types, the kind that could transform an ordinary penny into a legendary collectible. Among collectors, discussions often revolve around multi-error coins, rare anomalies that combine multiple production flaws into a single specimen. Imagine a 2001 D penny that simultaneously exhibits a dramatic off-center strike, a bold double die on the obverse, a faint but discernible repunched mint mark, and an unusual planchet defect that creates subtle layering in the copper plating. Each of these anomalies alone is noteworthy, but together, they form a coin that is nothing short of numismatic perfection in terms of rarity. The thrill of such a discovery is unparalleled. Serious collectors envision scenarios in which these extreme error coins appear after decades hidden in circulation or forgotten rolls. One story might involve a collector in a small Midwest town, carefully examining rolls of 2001 pennies from a local bank. Among the ordinary coins, a single penny gleams with a subtle reddish hue, perfectly preserved. Magnification reveals a doubled image of Lincoln's profile, a mint mark slightly misaligned from its original punch, and a planchet anomaly producing a unique visual texture on the reverse. The excitement is instantaneous as the collector realizes they may have stumbled upon a once-in-a-lifetime find. Auction houses thrive on these stories, knowing that narrative drives value as much as physical attributes. High-resolution photographs capture every detail, the double die showing ghosted letters, the slight offset of the mint mark, the off-center strike, and the gleaming reflective surface of the proof-like finish. Professional grading ensures authenticity, and provenance verification adds another layer of credibility. Competitive bidding escalates quickly, sometimes reaching sums previously thought impossible. In such cases, a 2001 penny could theoretically achieve valuations in the hundreds of millions, depending on the rarity, condition, and historical intrigue surrounding the coin. Another fascinating scenario involves color and toning anomalies. While most 2001 pennies feature the standard reddish-brown hue from copper plating, environmental factors, chemical reactions, or production irregularities can produce unique color variations. Some coins may display deep, uniform red toning, while others develop striking gradients or iridescent effects across the surface. Collectors prize these visual anomalies, as they add a layer of aesthetic appeal beyond technical errors. A 2001 penny combining extreme errors with exceptional toning becomes a visual masterpiece as well as a historical artifact, further elevating its potential value. Multi-error coins also offer insight into the minting process itself. Off-center strikes, die cracks, double dies, and repunched mint marks are not random. They reflect the stresses, limitations, and occasional imperfections in high-speed coin production. Each coin tells a story of the machinery, human oversight, and materials involved in its creation. Collectors value this narrative just as much as the physical attributes, understanding that the coin is a tangible link to the mint's history and technological process. The narrative extends beyond the coin to the collector community. Rivalries often emerge over discoveries, with collectors racing to identify, authenticate, and secure coins with unique errors. Auctions become intense competitions, as multiple parties recognize the potential rarity and value of a single specimen. Stories circulate about dramatic bidding wars, where coins change hands multiple times in the span of a few hours, escalating in price as anticipation builds. In such competitive environments, a 2001 penny with multiple anomalies could reach extraordinary valuations, further fueling the legend of the coin and the imagination of collectors worldwide. Historical comparison also adds perspective. Previous Lincoln cents, like the famous 1955 double die obverse or the 1943 bronze cent, demonstrate that seemingly ordinary coins can achieve legendary status when errors are dramatic and well documented. The 2001 penny fits into this tradition. While the coins were mass-produced, the possibility of extreme anomalies creates a pathway for some specimens to attain status alongside these historically celebrated rarities. Collector strategies reflect this understanding. Serious enthusiasts maintain meticulous records, track previous auction results, and monitor emerging discoveries. They study minting techniques, historical documentation, and error databases to anticipate potential finds. The combination of knowledge, patience, and intuition allows collectors to identify coins with the highest potential for value. They also invest in protective storage and professional grading, ensuring that any discovered anomaly retains its full market potential. Beyond technical and aesthetic considerations, storytelling is a crucial component of extreme value coins. The journey of a 2001 penny from mint to potential legend, through circulation, storage, discovery, authentication, and auction, is as compelling as the coin itself. Collectors, historians, and enthusiasts appreciate the narrative. A coin born in 2001, struck with a subtle error, preserved through decades, and ultimately recognized for its uniqueness. This human story adds intangible value, sometimes exceeding the significance of physical anomalies alone. Environmental factors further enhance the intrigue. Coins stored in time capsules, hidden in vaults, or buried and recovered decades later often exhibit unusual preservation characteristics. A 2001 penny discovered in perfect condition after decades of storage demonstrates the unpredictable survival of coins and the serendipity inherent in numismatic discovery. In auction scenarios, provenance becomes a critical factor. A coin with a verified history, whether tied to a famous collector, a unique discovery story, or a specific hoard, is more likely to achieve maximum valuation. The narrative of discovery, preservation, and rarity coalesces into a compelling package for buyers, driving competitive bidding and extreme market outcomes. Moreover, collectors appreciate the tactile and visual qualities of these coins. The smooth rim, precise diameter, reflective surfaces, and intricate details of Lincoln's profile and the Lincoln Memorial create a multi-sensory experience. Handling a coin that combines multiple errors, exceptional preservation, and aesthetic appeal is both a technical and emotional experience, reinforcing the coin's value beyond mere numbers. In theoretical valuation discussions, the $261 million figure represents the pinnacle of all these factors converging. A 2001 penny in perfect mint condition, exhibiting a combination of off-center strike, double die, repunched mint mark, planchet anomaly, and ideal toning, coupled with extraordinary provenance and verified authentication, could, in the imagination of collectors and market analysts, command such an astronomical sum. This is the coin of legend, the apex of numismatic aspiration, and the embodiment of all desirable characteristics in a single, small object. The story also underscores the duality inherent in Lincoln cents. They are ubiquitous in circulation, yet the potential for rare anomalies transforms them into objects of extraordinary fascination. The 2001 penny exemplifies this duality, illustrating that even a coin that seems ordinary at first glance can, under the right circumstances, become legendary. Ultimately, the 2001 Lincoln cent, with its potential for extreme error varieties, multi-error combinations, auction excitement, collector rivalry, historical significance, aesthetic appeal, and tactile experience, represents the full spectrum of numismatic possibility. It is a coin that teaches collectors about history, artistry, preservation, strategy, and imagination. The journey from ordinary circulation coin to theoretical $261 million legend demonstrates that even the smallest objects can hold monumental potential when the convergence of rarity, condition, errors, provenance, and market demand occurs. Each 2001 penny carries within it the potential for discovery, the thrill of the hunt, and the possibility of achieving numismatic immortality, making it not merely a piece of metal, but a story, a work of art, and a symbol of human fascination with rarity, value, and history. As we reach the final stage of exploring the 2001 Lincoln cent, it is important to envision the ultimate convergence of rarity, preservation, errors, provenance, and collector demand. One of the most exciting aspects of numismatics is the discovery of hoards, collections of coins that have remained untouched for decades, hidden from circulation, and preserved in a state close to their original mint condition. Imagine, for example, a forgotten time capsule from 2001, unearthed in 2050, containing hundreds of Lincoln cents, each carefully stacked, and among them, one coin stands out. Its copper-red luster is flawless, its edges sharp, and under magnification, it reveals a perfect combination of off-center strike, dramatic doubled die, faint repunched mint mark, and subtle planchet anomaly. Such a coin embodies the pinnacle of numismatic desirability, illustrating how ordinary pennies can transform into objects of legendary status when time, circumstance, and rarity converge. These hoards are not merely sources of coins. They are treasure troves of history, capturing the economic, cultural, and artistic priorities of the United States at the dawn of the 21st century. Every coin in a hoard tells a story of survival, from the mint presses to the hands that stored it, through decades of potential handling, corrosion, or misplacement. The very act of discovery adds immeasurably to a coin's allure. Market comparisons with other historically significant Lincoln cents further contextualize the potential value of a 2001 penny in extreme condition. Coins like the 1909 SVDB, the 1955 double die, and the 1943 bronze cent demonstrate that rarity, dramatic error, and preservation can combine to produce staggering prices. The 2001 penny, particularly in the hypothetical multi-error, flawless condition scenario, follows in this tradition, representing a modern equivalent in both narrative and potential valuation. Auctions serve as the proving ground for these coins. High-profile auction houses provide platforms where verified coins with extraordinary attributes are presented to a global collector audience. Detailed photography, magnification, and expert grading ensure that every subtle anomaly is documented. Competitive bidding escalates as collectors recognize the uniqueness of the specimen, and in extreme cases, prices reach heights previously considered unimaginable. The $261 million valuation scenario represents the theoretical apex of these dynamics, a coin that unites every desirable characteristic into a single, unparalleled object. Collector strategies emphasize patience, knowledge, and meticulous attention to detail. Experienced numismatists scan rolls, examine hoards, study mint records, and collaborate with other experts to identify anomalies that might otherwise be overlooked. Every decision, from storage to submission for grading, affects the coin's potential for recognition and valuation. In the case of the 2001 cent, these strategies could uncover a coin of near-perfect preservation and extraordinary error, the combination of which would make it an object of legend. The tactile and aesthetic qualities of such a coin are as important as its rarity. The smooth rim, precise diameter, and detailed imagery of Lincoln's profile, combined with the architectural intricacy of the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse, create a multi-sensory experience for collectors. The luster of the copper-plated zinc surface, the subtle sheen of reflective fields, and the contrast of raised devices engage both the eye and the hand, reinforcing the coin's value as both an artifact and a work of art. In theoretical extreme value scenarios, the 2001 penny becomes a symbol of the apex of numismatic achievement. Perfect strike, multi-error anomalies, ideal toning, pristine preservation, and extraordinary provenance converge into a single object that commands unparalleled attention. Its market value, while speculative at the $261 million figure, reflects the ultimate alignment of historical significance, rarity, aesthetic perfection, and collector desire. Beyond monetary considerations, the 2001 Lincoln cent teaches broader lessons about history, artistry, and human fascination with objects that embody narrative and potential. It is a coin that connects the modern collector to a long tradition of numismatics, spanning centuries of design, technology, and culture. Every scratch-free surface, every line of Lincoln's hair, every column of the memorial, and every subtle anomaly tells a story of production, survival, and discovery. Even the ordinary circulated 2001 cents serve as reminders of the coin's role in daily life, commerce, and culture. The duality of the Lincoln cent, ubiquitous yet capable of legend, is a core reason collectors are captivated. Ordinary coins can remain mundane for decades, while a single anomaly preserved under ideal conditions can transform the coin into a legendary artifact, commanding attention, admiration, and incredible market value. The 2001 penny's potential is amplified by the human imagination. Numismatists envision multi-error combinations, flawless proofs, and historical provenance scenarios, creating a mental image of a coin that transcends ordinary boundaries. It becomes a narrative vessel, connecting collectors to history, artistry, technology, and market dynamics. The journey of such a coin from minting to potential $261 million valuation illustrates the full spectrum of numismatic fascination: creation, circulation, preservation, discovery, authentication, and ultimate recognition. As we reflect on the 2001 Lincoln cent, it is clear that its story is far larger than its physical size. We are reminded that coins are not just currency. They are historical artifacts, artistic expressions, technological achievements, and objects of imagination. The 2001 cent embodies all of these qualities, offering collectors and enthusiasts a lens through which to explore history, artistry, rarity, and the thrill of discovery. In conclusion, the 2001 United States Lincoln cent is a remarkable coin that bridges the gap between the ordinary and the extraordinary. From its precise weight and composition, to its iconic obverse and reverse designs, to the thrilling potential of multi-error specimens, it exemplifies the intersection of history, artistry, and numismatic intrigue. Hoard discoveries, auction drama, collector rivalry, aesthetic appeal, and historical significance converge in scenarios that elevate the coin from mere currency to legend. While most 2001 pennies will remain humble pieces of change, the rarest, most extraordinary specimens capture the imagination, commanding extreme attention, admiration, and theoretical valuations as high as $261 million. It is a coin that demonstrates the enduring power of numismatics, that even the smallest, most common objects can, under the right circumstances, tell monumental stories, hold immense value, and achieve legendary status. Every detail matters: the strike, the toning, the errors, the history, and the preservation, because together they create the possibility of ultimate rarity and achievement. The 2001 penny reminds us that numismatics is not simply about coins. It is about the human fascination with history, craftsmanship, discovery, and the pursuit of perfection. It is a journey that begins with the mint and ends, potentially, in legend, a journey that continues to captivate collectors, historians, and enthusiasts worldwide, ensuring that the Lincoln cent, in all its forms, remains timeless, extraordinary, and endlessly fascinating.